And go. Welcome everybody, thank you very much for coming along and giving up your time tonight. Tonight we're going to be doing a demonstration on how to use LinkedIn as an effective tool during job search, so a very specific use of LinkedIn. So before we get into the meat of that, can I just talk you through the housekeeping things? So the bathrooms are down the corridor, out through the door that you came in, and down there on the right. Just on that wall as well, there's also the button to press to get out of the door. So especially if there is an emergency tonight, then that would be one of the best doors to go out, but you have to remember to release the door. Otherwise there's a second emergency exit through in the next room. So just be aware there are cables around the room tonight as well, and avoid those tripping hazards. So, who's used LinkedIn before?
Yes. Yep.
And who's got more than 10 connections?
Yes.
More than 50 connections?
Yes.
More than 100 connections?
Yes.
More than 500 connections?
Yeah.
So you're very good at connecting with people. Do you invite people to connect as well as connect with them when they invite you?
Yep.
So have you invited people to connect?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool.
Few close colleagues, yes.
Yeah. So when you've invited people to connect, have you done it by writing them one of those personal messages or just hitting the connect button?
Some of both.
Some of both. So we might cover that tonight, so thanks for
Depends
that.
on the person.
Have you ever looked up a company?
Yes.
Yeah? So why did you look up a company?
Just have a look and follow them and see what they do.
Yeah.
Often they're starting to produce a lot more on social media now about
Yeah.
what they're doing, so it's good
Yeah.
to follow
Yeah?
research.
And Carlton, you've looked up companies?
For those reasons, but
Yeah.
also to look up who works there.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, one of the wonderful things about LinkedIn is it doesn't matter what job people have got, you can still keep in touch and find them, because they might have changed email address or telephone number, but it's a great way of keeping connected. Has anybody ever used the jobs facility? So Carlton's used the jobs, yeah?
Tried and figured.
Yeah? And when you've used the job facility, have you ever been able to look up who posted the advert?
No, come to think of it, hardly ever.
So when you're in job search, one of the really good things about LinkedIn is that it helps you to find the company you might want to work for, see who works there, find out who you know who knows the person you want to get to know, so that you can phone up and say, how well do you know so-and-so? I was wondering if you could introduce me. Or I'm interested in applying for that job. Could you introduce me? Could you put in a good word? Or looking up and actually finding out who is the company, because sometimes companies try and hide who they are. But if you've got enough connections and you are connected to the poster, you can actually find out, has the advert been posted by the HR, the hiring manager, or a recruiter. So all of that information is useful when you're going through a job search. So we've all got our LinkedIn open either on some form of mobile device. So I'm going to sit down for this next section so that I'm not in the way of the screen. So what you can see here is I've got my profile open, and I've gone to edit profile. And so if you're following along, you want your profile to look really good. You know, if ever there's a job going and you want to apply for it, if you phone the recruiter and say, I'm interested in this role because, and you give her 2 or 3 reasons that are your skills that they're looking for, can you tell me a bit more about, and you might ask about the team or the culture, something that's not written in the advert. If they've got your name, by the time the telephone call is finished, they have looked you up and read your profile. So it's important your profile's good. So with your profile, make sure you've got a good photo. You know, don't have it at a party. Make sure it looks professional. If it's got an ugly backdrop, get somebody to Photoshop it for you for a £5 on Fiverr.com. You know, make sure or get somebody else to take a better photo for you. You know, it's not hard to get a good photo these days. This one, wherever you see a pencil sign, you can edit it. So you don't have to be known by your most recent job title, which is what the default is. You can put in whatever job title you want. So you could just have project manager or IT specialist or portfolio manager or anything that isn't even your current job title. So you can see I've got a blended career, so I have a blended job title. And that little bar sign is just that one above it's usually above one of the backslashes or something like that. And it just makes it look nice. What you do, some of these things are really hard, they don't give you the ability to write things freehand, so sometimes you just have to pick the thing that's most suitable to you. Now, if you look at this bit on your profile, what does it say in that section?
Personal hyperlink.
Yeah, but what does yours say? Literally, what does it say?
I think I've changed mine.
You've got yours name?
Yes.
You've got your name?
Yeah.
I've got my name.
You've got your name? Because it defaults
Yes,
to a string of zeros and dots, and you know, it usually starts off with a really weird number. And I was going to show you that if you haven't already done it, you can click on the little cog and you can come over here and you can make that say what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can then, once you've saved that, you can then actually copy that and paste that onto your resume so anybody can find you easily without it looking like a string of numbers that runs across half the page. So I put Claire Davis too. Some people have started putting Claire Davis MBA or Bieng or whatever as well. There's a different way of, it's a professional site. So that's another way people are using that one. Your summary can be more personal. So I've actually written this in the third person because it's sort of promoting me as a consultant. But you can talk about I in LinkedIn because it's a personal profile. It's a lot more about personal interaction. But quite a lot of those things in your summary statement are going to be from your summary statement in your resume. So that those same great qualities that you've captured in your resume, you can put into LinkedIn to sell yourself. And then you go into having the jobs. So build your jobs from the last one first. You can change them around if you get them in the wrong order, but it's really hard to make it click and drag. It's really awkward functionality there. And you can see I haven't got months in. You can put months in if you want. And you do that by editing it. If you leave the months choose, it just ignores the month and presents it in years. So again, that can be beneficial for some people. So you want to make your achievements, cut and paste them from your resume. Cut and paste the dot point, because LinkedIn doesn't like dot points. So that dot point is in a Word document. I have created a big full stop, massive one. You know, you can do it with insert symbol and done it, because otherwise what the best you can do is dashes. It's not got that kind of functionality. So the skills section, you can click on any one of those and it'll take you to the edit page. Now, oh, that's not quite what I expected it to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it do that before in my life. I demonstrate this all the time. Usually you can click on that.
Yeah, mine's different to yours.
Yeah, yours has gone the right way. And what happens when you click on it is it comes up with a little X next to it. So if you want to delete something, you just click on the X. There's also a click and drag sign at the bottom. And basically you can click on any one of those and resequence it into what's most important to you.
Aren't those the endorsement that people give you?
Well, you can actually write in those freehand and specify
yes.
what you want. But LinkedIn is very clever, and it reads your resume and picks up words and asks your connections to endorse you for words you haven't listed as being your area of expertise. So I've seen somebody with oil and gas, and oil and gas. And those could be in their top 3, and that's not really adding a lot to the value. So, and that's because LinkedIn does stuff. So you need to actively manage this sometimes and delete stuff. And you know, for example, Mushfiq, you would want to bring